The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Yo, Trevor, you know what time it is, okay? It's roll up the rim to win. And I want to ask you a question, okay? If you found one of these cups on the floor, not rolled up yet, would you pick it up? And would you roll up the win?
I would, buddy, because I believe now, and I believe because of the Vancouver Canucks, baby.
Oh, you a believer now. I like that, man. Let's talk about it.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also a Canucks writer for Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into today's episode, we got to take a moment to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks, because as your team, know your Canucks every day.
Ooh, okay.
The Locked On Podcast Network. If you haven't done so already, make sure you go subscribe or follow us for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And there's nothing more I love than being here on Locked On Canucks, talking Canucks, talking to the greatest fans in the world. But there's nothing more I hate than the Vegas Golden Knights, okay? Circumventing the cap, going to all these conference finals, going to the Stanley Cup finals. I'm jealous, I'm pissed off, and I'm petitioning for the Vegas Golden Knights to be the Canucks' new number one rival. So we're going to talk about the Vegas Golden Knights and how the Canucks can maybe steal Jake Guentzel from them ahead of tonight's matchup. I will talk a bit about the matchup as well. We're also going to get into Tyler Toffoli and why he may be the perfect fit for the Vancouver Canucks, okay? And there's some reasons for it that you think of, and there might be some reasons that you're not thinking of as well. And of course, we're going to get to your comments and more trade deadline talk, which Kyle loves oh so much. It is our last episode before the trade deadline has come upon us. So let's get into all that. But before we do any of that, again, let me introduce my co-host, someone who, likes to hide his phone on trade deadline day. Kyle Bowen. How's it going, brother?
Straight up, man. I'm not even doing tomorrow's episode, man. You know how everyone works overtime on trade deadline if they're talking about hockey? Even fans work overtime too. They're checking their phones like 56 times a day, 56 times an hour. They're going to the bathroom more at work, right? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to disconnect. Hey, speaking of disconnect, I didn't know that there's no roll up the rim anymore. Somebody just commented that. You got to do it on the app. Dude, what is going on with the world, bro? That is unreal, man.
I think that came about during COVID. You know, they didn't really find it sanitary to just roll it up with your mouth anymore. But
dude,
who knows, man? Who knows?
Man.
I don't care. I rolled up with my mouth because I feel lucky, and I feel lucky because of these Vancouver Canucks. You know.
Oh my God! No, we got to talk about this, man. This is. Everyone always says this, right? I feel like this is always like trending on the interwebs, right? Like Canada isn't the same anymore. Canada, I gotta get out of Canada, man. Canada ain't the, beep. Like they swear a lot about Canada these days. It's not as popular as it was a couple years ago, and I get it now. There's no roll up the rim. Come on, man. We're losing our. People also say Canada has no culture, dude. Come on, this was our culture, bro. We did something nobody else in the world did. Now we just got rid of it. Anyways, the Canucks, man. The Canucks, the Golden Knights. I'm all over the place. Beggsy, I know you're going to go on a little banter about something and start the show off. I haven't really talked to you about this, okay? Enough. Do you feel a way about how Vegas is just making rules up and, I don't know, creating this new era of how to manage your roster? I mean, they just got here like a handful of years ago. I know the hockey minds there have been there for an accumulation of hundreds of years, right? They got a lot of people in there, straight up. But this is, I wish we kind of had some of that swagger, man. And these guys are doing it first. I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit weird and jealous about my relationship with the Vegas Golden Knights. How about you hockey nerd? How do you feel about this?
I think I kind of have the same emotions as you, but there's a reason why I said I want Vegas to be the Canucks' number one rival. There's a reason why I hate Vegas now more than any other team in the league. Is because I'm petty and I'm jealous, and I cheer for the Vancouver Canucks, who haven't won a cup in 53, 54 years of their existence, whereas Vegas, again, are the defending Stanley Cup champions. They've been to more conference finals now than the Vancouver Canucks. Is that correct? Was it 4 conference finals? Was it 3? I think it's 4 now, if I'm not mistaken.
Have they been to 4 conference finals? I don't know, man. They're one Stanley Cup final appearance away from matching ours, and we've been around for 50 plus years. Yeah, a lot of jealousy fuels this quote unquote hate for the Golden Knights, but at the same time, I'm applauding it too because it's all within the rules. Hey, speaking of the rules, look at this comment from Mike. Hey, one love to the commenters. Hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, commenters, people, fans, we're giving away 2 tickets to a Canucks game March the 25th. Join the Discord. Link in the bio below. Anyways, Mike, look at this, man. He heard. This is breaking news right here, okay? He just heard that Noah Hanifin slipped in the airport in Vegas and now was being put on LTIR. And now Vegas is aggressively the front runners for Jake Guentzel. Do the math. They know what they're doing, man.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas just finds ways to get guys on their team, right? The double retention on Hanifin, and you add Hanifin to that decor. It's a scary thought, right? Again, for a team that are the defending Stanley Cup champions, and we talked about how the Canucks signed Pettersson at a time where it was their worst streak of the season, losers of 6 of 7. Vegas has lost 8 of their last 10 games, and here they are going out there and acquiring Anthony Mantha, acquiring Noah Hanifin, and they have the cap space and the creativity where they might not be done yet. Now, I think the rationale has changed in this market. This isn't, Jim Benning versus George McCrimmon. This is now Patrick Alvina and Jim Rutherford. We talked about the big brass ones on Alvina and Rutherford all throughout the week. And, we'll see if they go this route where they have Vegas's creativity, or maybe they just end up stealing Guentzel from Vegas as well. Now, let's talk a bit about Guentzel quick. I know we talked about
Okay, do it.
Updates from insiders are that one of the reasons the deal hasn't gotten done right now is because Vegas wants both Höglander and Lekkerimaki. And if that's the case, as great as Guentzel is, you can't do the deal. You can't give away Höglander and Lekkerimaki. It's a no-go. But for Vegas, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I think a big reason why they want both is because they're not that fascinated / enamored by a 2025 first-round pick. You know what I'm saying? Again, the Canucks already traded their 2024 first-round pick for a guy that, I don't know, may still go to Boston or light up the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. Okay, Lindholm. I predicted this, man. He gets 2 goals on the power play, okay? I'm saying it, man. He does 2 things, okay? He erases our doubts with Lindholm, and he also erases our doubts on this power play. Yeah, okay, so Lekkerimaki, Höglander, Pittsburgh wants them. Not surprised. Not surprised.
Yeah, you can't be surprised, and I think that might take the Canucks out of the running. I hear Florida's potentially out of the running because the package is too high, and that brings us back to Vegas. But Vegas, they have a good prospect pool in quotations, but it's slipped because they've traded away a lot of their top prospects. Look at the Athletics rankings from last month. The Vegas Golden Knights have the 23rd best prospect pool in the NHL, where the Canucks are 18th. And I think Vegas has the quantity, but not the quality that Vancouver has. And they have guys like the Lekkerimaki and Höglander at the top. So you look at Vegas' top prospects, I don't think any of them are enough to move the needle for Guentzel. David Edstrom, Lucas Cormier, Brendan Brisson, who's in the NHL right now. Like, those guys are not moving the needle for Jake Guentzel. So I'm like, what is Vegas really going to trade that's going to convince the Pittsburgh Penguins that this is the place where Jake Guentzel could go? I personally don't see it. So maybe Rutherford and Alvin can steal Guentzel away from Vegas, but I think, again, the more boring, more likely scenario is that neither of these teams get Guentzel.
Yeah, boring, blah, blah, blah. And there's also a chance that, like a 1% chance that, like, Dubas doesn't get the value he thinks he is going to get. Plus, he wants to do good by Jake Guentzel and trade him to where he actually wants to go, and that's Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows what's going to happen? Blah, 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 blah. Trade deadline. More importantly, we face the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. Dude, are you – because I don't know about you. Straight up. Are you excited, like so excited for this game? Because I really am. And it pains me to know that Mark Stone is not playing tonight because I just want to beat the Vegas, like the real Vegas Golden Knights. All in all, though, very excited for tonight's game. Talk about it.
It's a huge matchup, right? The Canucks have played Vegas once this season, and it was one of their worst games of the season, a 4-1 loss on home ice. Look, this is a team that the Canucks might have to go through if they're going to win the Stanley Cup, right? This is a team that the Canucks could face in a 7-game series. And, I like their chances tonight. But for me, the bigger picture is, again, I want to see how they play tonight, but how would this team match up against Vegas in a 7-game series? Because Vegas is very smothering. Vancouver's, their defense has become more smothering. I think both teams really do a good job of taking away the middle of the ice in the defensive zone. But you want to know why one of the reasons I like Vancouver over Vegas? It's because in a match between Vancouver and Vegas, the Vancouver Canucks have the 4 best players on the ice.
Holy.
Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, and Thatcher Demko. I mean, you're talking about 4 MVP candidates. Vegas is a great team, don't get me wrong, but Vancouver has 4 of the best players on either of those teams.
Dude,
And I
if
think,
Jack Eichel,
if you and Jack
Eichel were in an elevator, bro, he would unplug that elevator. And he'd beat you up, bro. Come on, bro. I believe you, though.
Okay,
I like the swagger. No, I like the swagger. I like the swagger.
Who is Jack Eichel better than? Between Miller, Demko, Hughes, and Pettersson.
Damn. Demko, I guess. Because he's proven more. Right? Like, he's got all the way to the cup final. He won the cup. He was the best player in the playoffs. He's really good. But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. There's a recipe there. Like, honestly speaking, I feel like the only way the Canucks could beat the Vegas Golden Knights in a series, because again, they got all the experience and they got heavyweights and they got some really good players too. Yeah, the only way we beat them is a little bit of luck and exactly what you just alluded to. It's those 4 players playing at the top of their game. Because when those 4 players are at the top of their game, you can argue that the Canucks have 4 of the top 30 players in hockey. And that has a lot to do with, again, JT Miller. 31 years old, Trevor. You know why I'm excited to turn 31? You know why I'm no longer scared of erectile dysfunction and balding? Straight up, I might shave it off. You know why? Because JT Miller at 31, bro, he's one of the best players in hockey.
Yeah, 100% he is. And, I think JT Miller, if he's not going to go with the rate he's going, I think, every night, but he is on a heater right now. And I think you're starting to see Pettersson heat up. You're seeing Hughes play some better hockey. And Demko, as long as you keep him fresh, get Casey DeSmith in there for some starts, I think the Canucks are going to be in good shape. And then maybe that brings us to our last point. I obviously expect Demko to start tonight. He was unbelievable against the Kings. Well, I shouldn't say unbelievable. He didn't face a lot of high danger chances, but had the save of the year. Does Casey DeSmith get in any of the next 3 games? Because the Canucks got Vegas tonight, then they got Winnipeg, and then they got Colorado.
I think
or is it just 4 straight games for Demko?
I think if they win tonight, he gets one of those starts
Against Colorado or Winnipeg.
Yeah,
Because those are heavyweight tilts too, right? Colorado making some more moves today. I think they acquired Yakov Trenin from the Nashville Predators a day after acquiring Sean Walker, acquiring Casey Middleton. Like, Colorado is gearing up right now.
Okay, screw Colorado, screw these other teams. I thought of something, man. My mind just went to a million places, okay? And I thought of something. I think this could work. I think that Patrick Allvin, Jim Rutherford, again, they want to shove it up the Vegas Golden Knights, you know what, right? They do. A, they're playing them, they're division rivals, and B, they've kind of stolen most of the spotlight. Well, I guess they're sharing it with Colorado in regards to the trade deadline. Think about this. Announce it tonight. The Canucks in Pittsburgh, they make a trade, but it's not for Jake Guentzel. It's for Riley Smith. And I was thinking about this, man. I know they haven't had Riley Smith, Jim Rutherford, and Patrick Allvin, right? He's a new Pittsburgh player. And I think he has some term too. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened because I know he's not playing that well. And again, well, maybe Rutherford and Allvin, they want to make a splash in Vegas and just take one of their guys and be like, you know what? We're ready for war.
We'll see how it goes. And I think as we get closer to the trade deadline, let's talk about a player who I think might be the perfect target for the Vancouver Canucks, and it's Tyler Toffoli. Let's touch on that on the other side. Before we do that, let's shout out one of our beloved sponsors. And today, that beloved sponsor is Indeed. Indeed, they're quick, they're fast, they make things easy. And oh yeah, they are the most popular job site in the world, okay? If you're hiring, you need Indeed because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Indeed is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have job requirements. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites hoping to find the candidates with the right skills, you need one powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. With Instant Match on Indeed, as soon as you sponsor a post, you get a short list of quality candidates with resumes on Indeed that match your job description, and you can invite them to apply right away. Plus, you only pay for quality applications that meet your must-have job requirements. One thing I love about Indeed is that they make hiring all in one place so easy. Never mind Staples, Indeed was the one that invented the "that was easy" button, okay? True fact, maybe, possibly. Right now, start hiring on Indeed with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/lockedon. Offer valid through March 31st. Go to Indeed.com/lockedon to claim your $75 credit before March 31st. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. You need to hire? You need Indeed.
Man, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Vancouver, all my real fans.
Okay, we back here on Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. That right there is Trevor Beggs, a.k.a. a dude who's friends with a Hindu, and that Hindu is Kyle Bowen, okay? Straight up. Mr. Whale, man, one of the comments, I see that one, okay? Imagine if that Hindu god with all those arms played hockey, and I think about that every day as a Hindu hockey fan, a Hindu Canadian hockey fan. Again, I think about this every day. Maybe one day, man. Who knows what's going to happen in the year 4046? Straight up. Hopefully by then we have a Stanley Cup. Hey, speaking of Stanley Cup, okay, I want to go back to the whole Riley Smith point, okay? Because even though they haven't connected with them, they haven't touched base, it seems pretty apparent to Rutherford and Alvin that they want guarantees coming into the lineup if they're willing to, like, give more assets up, especially after the Lindholm thing, and it's easier to get that when, you're going to Pittsburgh. But Riley Smith, he's a champion. He's a champion. Tyler Toffoli, a champion. A little bit closer to guarantees. Yeah, so much can happen. Who knows if we're getting Guentzel? Who knows if we're getting one of those guys? Who knows if we're getting anyone? I'm just liking how this management group is always thinking ahead. And I want to go to this question, okay, Trevor, because it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. I already know your answer because you're a smart guy. You're one of the smartest guys I know. They were definitely trying to raise the value of R.C. Baines. They were definitely, and they still are definitely trying to raise the value of Podkolzin because they knew if they wanted to compete with the big guns and you're not having a first-round pick in 2024, they're not making moves if you can't get rid of your three best prospects. And one of them's not even your best prospect. He's actually like one of your best NHLers.
Yeah, 100%, right? And that's why I do wonder if, the Canucks are to acquire Tyler Toffoli if Podkolzin is part of the package going back because, rumors are New Jersey wants a first or maybe a second and a prospect. And to me, it's like a second in Podkolzin. Would you do that for Toffoli or is that too steep for you?
That's too steep for me. That is a little too steep for me, man. Come on, man. Okay, you know what? Never mind. 26 goals in 61 games played for Toffoli again. Damn. Okay.
Yeah. I think, the caveat is he's probably more of a pure rental, right? Like, he's 33 and maybe you resign him.
Okay, pure rental, really? Like, this guy's moved around a lot. Like, maybe he just, like, comes back to Vancouver, a.k.a. comes back to the West Coast again, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here.
Because he probably should have never left in the first place, right? And I think, an important thing to remember about Tyler Toffoli is that he had great chemistry with Elias Lindholm, which I think is something that a lot of Canuck fans don't think about. Tyler Toffoli and Elias Lindholm, did play on a line for part of their time in Calgary. They were two of the best players on that team at the time. And look, then maybe the Vancouver Canucks are just giving Calgary taste their own medicine. The Calgary Flames became the Calgary Canucks a few years back, and now we're about to become the Vancouver Flames, okay? Tyler Toffoli, I think, it's so easy to envision his spot in the lineup. I think he could play perhaps on a top line with Lindholm and Pettersson. He could play on a second line with Miller and Besser. That would be a sweet second line. He's probably a better fit than Lindholm on your top power play unit. There's a lot of reasons to like Toffoli on this hockey team. And regardless, I think if you have a top six of, let's say it is, Höglander, Pettersson, Lindholm, and then Toffoli, Miller, and Besser, you're looking at a pretty rock solid top six there. Because again, I do think the way to get the most of Lindholm, keep him on that top line. I love the way Höglander is playing right now. Toffoli just does it all. He's a big gritty. He's got the championship pedigree. He's not going to cost as much as Jake Guentzel, right? It might be steep for Toffoli. Like a second in Podkolzin would be steep. But if it's something in that ballpark, maybe you can hold on to Podkolzin for some reason. I do in general like the idea of adding Tyler Toffoli to this team.
Damn. You love Toffoli, man.
And you should have never left. The summer of 2020
that
is a starting thing for Canucks fans.
That would be something else if they went out of their way to get one of Lindholm's friends to, fix this issue.
Well, I think he's
Johnny Gaudreau
in that team. We talked about it before, and every Dayers know, but we talked about how acquiring Tanev would give a boost to that locker room. Bringing back someone who was loved in that dressing room, who had a lot of success in that team. Now, Toffoli was much more short lived, but by all accounts, he's very respected in that locker room. Guys liked playing with him. He fit in extremely well with this team.
And he's still good, man.
At a high level.
Yeah, man. He's still good, dude. He's 33 years old, 26 goals. Is he 33? Am I right on that? Is that?
Yeah.
33. Okay. So I'm 31. I'm not 31 yet. Me and Trevor are 30. And look at this comment. Okay. I don't know why. I just don't want to re-pick up old players. So what? 33 years old, bro? Andrew, how old are you, man? How old are you, man? Would you trust yourself?
How old I am. Come on. 30 and a half. Let's go.
No, okay, no, I'm talking to Andrew, the guy who commented that.
Oh.
Dude, again, no, bro, man. Back in my day, we used to appreciate our elders, And I know what's happened over the last 5-6 years, Straight up, 30-year-olds are being washed out, man. Crazy, man. We're just being doubted. The peak of your life is what? Athletic life is 24, 25. Bro, I don't know about you, but I've gotten a lot stronger in the last 5 years, man. Dude, we got to put on for 30-year-olds.
Yeah,
Anyway,
100%. Hey, we did that push-up challenge. We did that push-up challenge at the beginning of the season, and like, look what happened to your Vancouver Canucks. Okay, so
oh,
if you and I put in the work, the listeners put in the work, do that karma. Come on, it's good things gonna happen to these Vancouver Canucks.
bro, I can't believe I forgot about that. We told the Canucks, man, going into September, show up in shape. This season matters. And if we were talking all that ish and demanding a lot out of them, what did we do? We demanded a lot out of ourselves, man, and we did 100. Yep, I remember that 100 push-up challenge right before the season started. Kyle Bound and Trevor Beggs, man, just trying to put it out there, do our part, Hey, speaking of doing our part, you, Trevor was about to say something. I cut him off. You guys are a part of a lot. We'll get to the comments soon, maybe after this break. And again, Discord, man, hit the link in the bio. Join the Discord. It's a fun time. Talk about a lot of things, mainly about your Canucks, because right now they're really the only thing that matters in life. Join it, and you can possibly win 2 tickets to a Kings game. Kings Canucks, March 25th. 2 tickets could be yours. We'll announce the winner on March the 22nd.
Yeah, that's gonna be a sweet contest too. We saw things kind of heat up between the Kings and Canucks during the last game on Tuesday. I think by the time we get to March 25th, these two teams are really not going to be liking each other very much. So it's an exciting time. The stretch drive, the trade deadline. Now we're, as of recording, 23 and a half hours away from the trade deadline.
You
Maybe
can't
24
wait.
hours if you count those late breaking trades. So we're getting up to it, man. So curious to see what this team does over the next 24 hours. On the other side, let's get to some of the listeners' comments about potential trades and deals that could be made. But before we get to that, shout out a couple sponsors. They are Factor Meals and Robinhood. All right. Eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals, okay? Eat fresh and never frozen meals, and they are chef-crafted, dietitian approved. Hey, you need that. Shout out to my mama. She's a dietitian. And hey, these meals are ready to go in just 2 minutes, okay? You'll have over 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Also, there's 60 more add-ons to help you stay fueled up and feel good all day long. What are you waiting for? Get started today and get started on your goals. Again, these meals, 2-minute meals, okay? You got pancakes, smoothies, and more. Discover a wide variety of options for the entire day, from breakfast to the midnight stacks. Factor's got it all, baby. No prep, no mess meals. Factor meals are ready to heat and eat, baby, okay? They're good for on-the-go stuff, and Kyle, you and I need that, okay? We're busy guys, 87 other things to do today, okay? So make sure that you sign up and save. We've done the math, and Factor is less expensive than takeout. And again, every meal, dietitian approved, baby. So make sure you head on over to factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 and use code LockedOnNHL50 to get 50% off. Are you kidding me? That's code LockedOnNHL50 at factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 to get 50% off. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at Robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024 validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of the first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. 3% matching on transfers subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA is available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker-dealer.
Okay, we back. Talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. That right there is Trevor Beggs. And man, oh man, this is a crazy time in life where hockey's the only thing that matters. Case in point, I haven't asked Trevor Beggs how he's doing in a long time. I haven't asked about his kids. I haven't asked about his wife. All these phone calls are about players that don't even play on our team. Hockey has clearly taken over. And true story, I can only say this because I know she don't listen to the show, right? I'm never going to name my girl, okay? She's just a hot girl, okay? This hot girl that I'm dating, that I'm in love with, she's singing tonight. Singing tonight all the way in North Van. And I gotta not show up to that because of work related issues. And yeah, partially am grateful for that because I get to watch the Canucks game. So yeah, hockey matters, man.
Hockey matters, and it matters especially right now with the Canucks being good. And look, Rick Tocchet's now at the 100-game mark, and he's won 60 of those games. I believe it's 60, 29, and 11 that the Canucks have been since Rick Tocchet took over. I believe that they have a plus 50 or more than plus 50 goal differential. I mean, hockey is fun again, right? The Canucks chose Tocchet over Bedard, and boom, bam, guess what? The Canucks are now one of the best teams in the NHL. And we get to talk about buying at the deadline instead of just selling assets off. I mean, we talk about Toffoli, who's on the New Jersey Devils right now. The Canucks made one trade on deadline day last year, and it was shipping Curtis Lazar to the New Jersey Devils for a 4th-round pick, okay?
Okay.
And we're all thinking, like, oh, that was a nice job. You got rid of a guy who wasn't working out here, blah, blah, blah. And, I think some bigger stuff might happen this time around.
Yeah. Straight up. For so many reasons, and mainly because there is a lot of success on this team right now. And bro, Jim Rutherford sat down with you, Chris Faber, and I read a couple quotes. I don't know if I have them in front of me right now, but this guy seems confident, man. This guy seems confident, doing his thing. He said he was calm, cool, collected. I'm paraphrasing, when the Canucks were slumping, because he knows that A, his team is flexible, aka resilient, and B, these things happen through 82 games. He also talked a lot about a guy like Nikita Zadorov and how much he means to the team. Team DJ, that's what I'm hearing. And also a guy who plays physical and will stand up for his team. Also a guy who's getting a lot better. Speaking of getting a lot better, Rutherford talked about Lindholm too, and they definitely expect a lot more offense from him. I'll go read that article. Chris Faber, one love to that guy. He invented hockey podcasting in Vancouver. Trevor, Rutherford, confidence, all those things I just said. What comes to mind?
His balls come to mind. Is that, can I just say that right off the jump? But
that's okay. I wish, man. I wish.
I think, one of the things I respect most about this regime is they don't really care what people think, right? You think of last season, all the changes they made, the moves they made, the Hronek trade, firing Boudreau, they weren't popular decisions, but they were the right moves for this franchise. And now they've earned the benefit of the doubt in this market. But it doesn't really matter what we think as commentators, as fans, they're going to do what they think is best for this team. And that's a commendable thing. I think the other thing to commend them for, and it has me even more interested in this deadline than I already would be, is the fact that when they recognize a mistake, they move on quick. I just mentioned Curtis Lazar. They sign him. Doesn't work out. They trade him. Elias Lindholm, that's a much bigger deal. I just wonder, again, lots of smoke around this. Some reports that Lindholm's still going to Boston and Guentzel going to Vancouver and DeBrusk is going to Pittsburgh. I mean, I still think a lot of it's, I wouldn't say noise, because I think there's discussions going on that I fully believe. But man, oh man, if they trade Lindholm, it would be one of the craziest things ever. So again, the balls on this management regime are crazy. I mean, who doesn't want to see those balls, man? That's impressive stuff.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Again, I wish I could look at mine and just appreciate the size, because I've never been able to do that before. Where am I? Okay. So, I think I want to say this. I saw something on Donnie and Dolly. I just said that Chris Faber invented hockey podcasting. These two have the best podcast in the world. It's literally like in the 1%. They were talking about how the Canucks may not want to do this because optically how bad that would look, not just across the league, but maybe within that room, because Lindholm's family just moved to Vancouver. Right? And yeah. I know it's business is business. This is the NHL. But I think for this core specifically, with how they've kind of dealt with head coaches and even former players in the past, morally speaking, can they afford to be super savage and make a deal like that? Because he is a human being. I don't know. Yeah, it's A lot of things, man. A lot of things going on. Again, I heard the Canucks may not want to do this anymore because, again, Lindholm's family just moved to Vancouver. Like, 5
I
minutes ago.
mean, I get that. I do think their primary objective is to build a Stanley Cup winner. And if they think Lindholm's not, working out, I mean, the man's
Ooh,
still
you're
making
cold.
almost $5 million a season, right?
Wow. I can't trust you. I can't trust you with my life, Trevor. Straight up, man.
I was running the Vancouver Canucks, maybe not. But yeah, I again, the move would be unprecedented. So there's not really any precedence for giving up a haul of assets for a guy and then flipping him a month later. Like, it just doesn't happen. So, I mean, the fact these conversations are taking place, allegedly, according to rumors, that in itself is fascinating. But again, this management regime has flipped guys when they haven't worked out. The Lindholm situation would be a bit different, but I still think it's a possibility. I don't think it's a high possibility, but I think it's a possibility for sure.
I don't think
I
it's
think the more
happening,
likely
man.
option is adding a guy like Toffoli, which is kind of why we talked about that in the
Okay.
second segment.
Okay.
Bolster your top six and then putting Lindholm with Pettersson and making that work out.
Okay, think about this, okay? Think about this. Because we're not talking about this enough. And if we want to be one of those teams and dictate a lot in the league, right? You're going to do business on our terms or one of those teams. It's got to be case in point that some examples should be taken from the Colorado Avalanche and how they do business. Okay, so I saw this from the commenters. Okay, shout out to Angela, one of the most passionate people in the world. Okay, how about Mikheyev and some assets for Toffoli? Think about that, right? Because Colorado somehow got rid of Ryan Johansson, or is it Johansson? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it's possible to think that way too. And I think if the Canucks have to not land their big fish and they have to settle for tier 2, tier 3, those guys have the mindset of making sure that, they got to win this trade. And getting rid of Mikheyev's contract would be a bonus. I mean, they would have to get rid of money to bring people in general, but just for the long run, because Mikheyev may come back to form or play better, but is he ever going to be a $4.5 million player or whatever he gets paid?
Yeah, 4.75 mil. Yeah, I'm a fan of moving Mikheyev out. I think, I think different teams are going to value him differently. The Devils, to me, are intriguing because they are a team based on speed. There's an argument that maybe they could use some more size and grip, but their MO is, being a fast team. And I could see them being a team that's in on Mikheyev based solely on the fact that, if he fully recovers, he's at that 12-month window now, a little past that since surgery. If they think he could be back up to full speed next season, he's an intriguing add for that team, especially if, Toffoli's a UFA, he's not going to resign there. I think that might have some steam to it, man.
There you go, Angela, man. Is that Patrick Alvin's burner account? Who knows, man? Anyways, Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs. Trevor, do you have like 2 minutes or 1 minute or 90 seconds? Should we read a comment or two? Or do you got to get out of here?
I got about 90 seconds. Sounds about right.
90 seconds. Okay. I got to favorite some. We need a mod. Okay. We need a mod. Look at this. Dr. Haas. Okay. This is one of the comments of the year. Even he is on Vegas's LTIR. Okay. I think he might have commented earlier as well regarding Vegas being able to do the most and the Canucks, being a team that paid a lot of money for Roberto Luongo against their cap, the money that fans do care about. And yeah, here's Vegas just maneuvering, and I know, quote unquote, playing within the rules because things get signed and they get passed over and there's contracts and there's paperwork. Like, everything's official, but man, oh man, I can't not sit here and not agree with the energy around that because, again, the Vancouver Canucks, they're not respected. They aren't, man. And it's okay because 50 plus years, no cups, only 3 Western Conference final appearances, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, they don't really deserve it. The fans do, but success really hasn't warranted the respect, thus making this the ultimate vision. And that's, again, us winning the Stanley Cup finally and just deserving that respect because, again, league-wide, they don't really care about the success of the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, and I like it, man. I like the Canucks being disrespected, man. Come on, let's go. Let's be the most hated team in the NHL. Maybe we'll take that away from Vegas after
The NHL.
the playoffs. Let's go, buddy. Kick their ass tonight and kick their ass in the playoffs. I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone. Talk about where they come from in terms of where they're listening from today. They go West Van, North Van, Burnaby. Shout out to Abbotsford. That's where
one person
I am
from
right
the Czech Republic. One person from the Czech Republic in our comments from the last
Republic. Woo! I saw Denver in there.
Where my Hindus at though? Where my Hindus at though, man? Trevor, man, can you just say it right now? Yo, this is We want all the Hindu Canucks fans to listen to this podcast. Can you just say that for me, man, please?
Yeah, we want all the Hindu Canucks fans to listen to this podcast. Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
We want Roll at the Rim back, okay? Oh, Canada. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bound, Locked on Canucks. Hit the like button, subscribe. And again, March 25th, we're giving away 2 Canucks tickets. Well, we're giving them away on March the 22nd for a game on March the 25th. The Kings and the Canucks. Subscribe to the Discord and enter the contest. But more importantly, just enter the friendship, dude. We're practicing for the live show. $1.25 hot dogs, $5 drinks. JS, he's the only one with a coupon. You got a coupon, 2 free drinks. 2 free drinks, 2 free hot dogs. How did he get that? Bro, the only thing he ever comments is Go Canucks Go. And that's the reason for all this. Anyways, Trevor, sign us out.
Hey, shout out to all of you listening, from everydayers to first-time listeners. We love each and every one of you. Trade deadline tomorrow. Kyle, I think maybe we got to hop on maybe a little bit past noon to see if anything else trickles in, but very curious to see what happens in the next 24 hours. Of course, a big game between the Canucks and Vegas Golden Knights in there. So going to be a crazy show tomorrow. Recapping the trade deadline. But for now, we got to get out of here. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bound, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Enjoy life. One love. Peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.